Okay, I hope you finish. So here is the answer when you are the periodic lazy guy. So did you find out any inventories we don't use? We will use new account to replace inventory. So debit purchases, okay? Here we use freight in. In means when you buy, in buy, okay? Then here, credit purchase return allowances. Why we put it on credit side? You should understand. What does it mean? Purchase returns and allowances. It means our inventory decrease, right? So inventory decrease on credit side. That's why we put it on credit side. Purchase discount on credit side. Why? Because also it means our inventory decrease. Inventory decrease on credit side. Then purchases, why on debit side? Because we buy the inventory. So means what? Your inventory increase, right? Freight in. Also, it means our inventory increase. So put it on debit side. Okay? Any questions? So this is the first difference. When you are the buyer, we don't use inventory this account. Okay? For T account, don't forget, post to your T account. I'll check your T account later. I don't need to do it now because later I'll add some questions. Based on the questions answers, I'll know whether you finish T account or whether you do the right thing for your T account. Okay? So this is the first difference. Right now, we go to sellers. The key difference, sellers. So on slide page 111, on your slide page 111, our key difference is cost of goods sold, right? So when we sell the products, the key difference is cost of goods sold. So for cost of goods sold, when we record the cost of goods sold, hard worker perpetual when we record the cost of goods sold. Perpetual hard worker, right? So when we record the cost of goods sold, when we sold, right? So when we sell the products, we record the cost of goods sold because perpetual we are hard worker. How about periodic? Periodic, we are the lazy guy. So when you record the cost of goods sold, last day, right? I don't want to record it. I'm gonna to wait until last day, right? So last moment, last day. So end of period. 期末. Okay. Any questions? So right now it's quite easy. Why? Because we are lazy guys. So you could be lazy now. You don't need to recall second thing, cost of goods sold. You just need to recall the first thing, revenue. Okay? No problem. So let's go to perpetual 永续盘存制 first. So based on perpetual 永续盘存制 on your slide page 83. Slide page 83. Here is perpetual 永续盘存制 hard worker. So when we sell the product, did you find out hard worker? We record two things, right? First is revenue. So focus on revenue. You say, oh, I earned sales revenue, but customer didn't pay the money back, right? So I have accounts receivable increase. Okay. So after revenue, don't forget perpetual 永续盘存制 hard worker. We also record second thing, cost of goods sold, right? So we sold the product to customers, which made your inventory decrease, right? Inventory decrease at the same time, our cost of goods sold expenses increase. Okay. After this, what's the next? Don't forget freight cost, right? Who pay the freight cost? If you are the sellers, you pay the freight cost. So it's FOB destination 目的地交货 okay? So when you pay the freight cost, that's your expenses, right? Because when we sell the products, we have a different kind of expenses incurred, like what? Utility expenses, like what? Advertising expenses, salaries and wages expenses, right? Including freight freight out. So did you find out freight out when we sold the products? So including this, okay? So what's the next? After we deliver the products to customers, maybe customer like it or customers don't like it, right? So what if customer don't like your products? So what could they do? Customer return the product back to you, right? So don't forget, at the beginning, you record two things. When customer return inventory back to you, you still have to record two things, okay? First is about revenues. Since customer return the inventory back to you, so the sales revenues you earned, sales revenue you earned from customer should be decreased, right? Also, whether they should pay the money back to you? No, they don't need to pay the money for the returned inventory, right? So that's why accounts receivable decrease. Okay. So after revenues, don't forget perpetual 永续盘存制 hard worker. We still will record the second thing, cost of goods sold, right? So since customer return inventory back to you, so you got the inventory. Your inventory increased, right? So at the same time, your cost of goods sold expenses will be decreased, okay? So that's for the second thing. How about the last event? Last event is whether customer pay the money back to you within discount period, right? Okay. So customer pay the money back to you. So they don't owe you money anymore. Accounts receivable decrease. At the same time, you got the cash. So cash increased 98%. Why? Because they got 2% discount. So that's why we described we have sales discount 2%. Any questions? So that's for perpetual 永续盘存制. Okay, let's go back to periodic 定期盘存制. So what's the difference? Periodic 定期盘存制. We are lazy guy. So what? Second thing about cost of goods sold, we don't want to recall it now. Okay, so for cost of goods sold, skip it. So don't recall it. Don't recall it. That's it. Okay. So did you find out it's easier for periodic 定期盘存制? Why? Because you don't need to care about second thing. Okay. So based on this, please go to your note on page 29. Your note on page 29. So for page 29 is periodic, right? So first thing you should figure out, you are the hard worker or lazy guy. So periodic 定期盘存制. So periodic 定期盘存制, right now you are the lazy guy. Also, you are the seller. So remember, for sellers, what's the key difference? You only record revenue, right? So you skip cost of goods sold. Okay? So there's a key difference. So please, based on per picture on page 20, right? So page per picture. When you are the seller, based on this, finish your periodic right here. And also don't forget, post to your T account on page 30. Okay, if you finish T account on page 30, I want to double check whether you did the right thing. So I'm going to ask you some questions. This question is on page 31, the first half of the page. So please finish the first half, 前半页,上半页. Finish it. Let me check. You can go home.